Alright, so we finished on a note wherein we learned how to delete the remote branches as well, and then we understood the key difference between git fetch and git pull. In this session, we're gonna get started with a important fundamental about git stash. What is a git stash? It's a temporary way to save your changes, whatever changes you've made, to your working copy, to your local copy, so that you can start working on something else and then come back and reapply them later. Which means that if you need to quickly, while you're making some changes onto your branch, and then you need to come back quickly and go somewhere else, do some changes, switch context, and you need to switch on some other branches, make some changes. However, you don't want your local changes to be deleted, then you can just stash your changes, which means it takes your uncommitted changes, both staged and unstaged, save them for later use, and then reverse them from your local, from your working copy. At this point, once you make the stash changes, you're free to make any changes, create new commit, switch branches, perform any new other git operation, and then come back and reapply your stash. And it always stays into your local on your Git repositories and not transfer to any of the servers when you push. All right, let's try to understand what does a stash actually means in a working environment. Let's suppose I make some changes into, so my repo is, it's up to dated. It is pulled up and everything is now up to dated on my master branch. Let's suppose I make some changes on my master branch in the variable file. I'm just gonna quickly copy this block and do the changes right over here again and make some commit. And while these changes are being made, I'm meanwhile making some other changes, random changes on my master branch also, or some other branch also, right? 4, 5, cool. Now if I try to do a git pull, it would error out. It would not let me pull. It would say that you have your changes to the local files. So either you need to abort your changes, you need to commit your changes, or stash them before you merge them. But these changes are still incomplete. I haven't finished writing my configuration or my code. I first I don't want to commit them right away, and neither I want them to lose. I want them to go away. I want to keep them also, and so that I can come back later and start working on it. So what I can do is, if I do a git stash, I shouldn't. You have something already over here, so you see that you do have a list of work in progress, which means it gives you that whenever you do a git stash, it would tell you that these are the changes you have made. However, if you don't want it to automatically write this command, what you could do is you can simply clear it away. All right, now if I do a git stash list, it shouldn't give you anything, and it would delete all the changes also. Cool. Let's probably try to redo it again. 5 and 5. What I want is, in order to stash them, use the save and the message also, which is like my first stash. And now if I do a git stash list, it will tell me that which is the number of stash. I've only made the first stash, which starts from 0, and this is the comment which I have made. Now if I do a git pull, it should be able to pull the changes. And now if you see that it has all pulled the changes right from here. So once you're happy with everything, you can always now make these changes and apply them. So in order to apply them, you could simply do a git stash pop, and this would actually apply all our changes. So if you see, there's a merge conflict at the moment. However, here you go. You can always remove these conflicts, because now if you do a git status, you have, now if I try to do git pull, it would say that you have unresolved conflict. So what you could do is you could simply add it and commit the changes, because now if you're happy with all of your changes, committing stashed changes. I'm just going to ignore the typo, and then git push. This would push all my changes, and now if I hit refresh, my changes along with my stash changes also has gone. Do a git pull. This time it should be able to pull everything if there is there. And if you do a git stash list, it has the changes. Now since you're happy with all the changes, you can always do a git stash clear. All right, this is how you could just utilize the stash. And if you're working on something else and that's still unfinished, you can always come back later and finish it and push it again. I hope this was informative, really handy when you're working on actual environment. I will see you in a while. Hope this was informative again.